All right, it's all over in Salt Lake City. The Kings begin the road trip with a 118-101 victory against the shorthanded Jazz. I thought the assist-to-turnover ratio in the second half much, much better, and that's what I expect, particularly when you're playing an inferior team. I thought that was a real key in the second half, Ryno.
Yeah, spot on, Grant. They got the ball moving a little bit more. Keegan Murray showing some signs of life. Good to welcome him back to the party as well, Napes.
Yeah, he had 26 points. It's the first time he scored 20 or more, I think, since the middle of November. And here we are getting ready to turn the calendar to March. The Kings will play in Houston this weekend on Saturday. But 118-101, the game got a little close with about 2 minutes left to go in a third, single digits, and then or close to it. And then, yeah, well, I was going to say, yeah, which was hard for me to fathom. And then the Kings really pulled away and ran away. We talk about the third quarter again, right? Well, the third quarter was 28-23.
Mm-hmm.
The Jazz should not be staying within 5 points of the Kings in any quarter. They just shouldn't. Not with the lineup they put out on the floor, but give the Kings credit. They did what they had to do in the fourth quarter, and they did what they had to do at the beginning of the fourth quarter to really show them that they weren't going to be in the game.
Yeah, they did, but Grant, they don't have that killer instinct.
No.
It's just not there. You get a little bit more of a comfortable lead. You spread it out because once it got to a point, then they pushed it to about 8 or 9.
Yep.
Then the Kings are going for what I call home run turnovers. Just stupid plays.
And there's too many minutes. You shouldn't. Zach LaVine should not be playing 37 minutes in a game of this magnitude. Sabonis, DeRozan, 34, Monk 35. It's just too many minutes in a game like this. I mean, it just with the games coming up, you would have loved to have those numbers reduced, but it is what it is. I saw the comment from Jay. I didn't hear the comment by Katie, but Katie doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. I mean, she really doesn't. I have no idea how she maintains her job if she really said that. Jay said that Katie says without practice time, it's important to leave the starters in for the last 2 minutes. Again, Katie really doesn't have any idea what the hell she's talking about. She honestly doesn't. That's just a stupid ass comment. It really is stupid.
Yeah, but I don't really have much to add to that.
There is nothing to add to that. She just doesn't have any idea what the hell she's talking about. It's embarrassing.
Okay, I get where she's trying to go with that, but with this team, Grant, is those extra 2 minutes really going to make the team that much better?
It's stupid. It's asinine. It's a stupid ass comment. And we get comments like this all the time from our fans on these shows. And my phone blowing up talking about this stuff. It's just idiotic. It's embarrassing for the franchise. All right, let's get back to Malik Monk.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his numbers, okay? And during this indoctrination of new players, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And since the trade, Louis, stop with the DMs. I'm not even going to go there tonight.
Louis.
But I'm just telling you right now, Malik Monk's game's got to get better. It's got to get better. I want to see him play to the level that I saw him play before the trade deadline. And I don't know. I want more from him, Ryan.
I do too, Grant, and I think you bring up a very valid point. What I'm having trouble with is watching these games since De'Aaron Fox left the team and understanding if teams are guarding Malik different and taking away the pick and roll in certain ways they weren't doing before, or if it's more of a coaching thing, because we both know the pick and roll is what opened Malik up. It opens Sabonis up. It really gets that ball moving. And at this point, I don't know if it's a coaching decision or what, but clearly that is dragging his game down. He's being asked to administrate. He's being asked to share in a different way and has the number one guard most times on him every night, Grant.
Yeah. Did I miss something with Markelle Fultz in this game that I was unaware of? Did he have an injury? Because he only played 4 minutes in the first half and didn't play at all in the second half. Did I miss something there?
You did not. I was asking and thinking the same thing. Not sure why he did not get more burn in this one. If you want to talk about leaving somebody in, Grant, maybe this was the time you get Markelle, some NBA run, get him a little bit more shape since he's been out of the league for a year up until now.
Listen, I know Valanciunas had 15 and Keon had 11, but your other two starters LaRavia, who can't put the ball in the ocean right now, and Fultz only played 4 minutes. So Doug did tighten up the rotation tonight. Trey Lyles did not play. All right.
Right.
So Doug, for all intents and purposes, if we take the 4 minutes away from Fultz, Doug only used 8 guys in this game. And, in a game like this against a team that's load managing all of their frontline players, Collins, Markkanen, and then the guard, Colin Sexton, I'm shocked by that. You know what, Ryan? And so I ask you the question, did Doug do that because of necessity, because of the Jazz were hanging around and around, or is he down on a couple of guys on his bench? When I mean down, like saying, hey, I can't count on these guys.
I think Doug did it out of necessity. With 2 or 3 minutes left in the game, the Jazz were only down 15 points. I think this team has shown that they are bipolar enough to lose a lead quickly. And in terms of the rotation, I think it could be the other way. Maybe he saw it as an opportunity to give other guys minutes and give them a look like LaRavia and have it not hurt the team as much. But under that same argument, Grant, you'd ask, why the hell would Keon Ellis even play tonight?
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't understand that. Rockets are the Kings' next opponent. They're blowing out the Spurs 92-69. The update on De'Aaron Fox, the guy that still can't shoot. In 22 minutes, he's 3 of 10 for 7 points and 1 of 4 from downtown. But the Rockets.
How many times? How many times has he been to the free? How many times has he been to the free throw line, Grant?
In this game, the number would be 0.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
0.
Interesting.
0. Tony says Walker Kessler is good quality center. I would agree with you. He is, but you didn't have Collins, you didn't have Markkanen, and you didn't have Sexton. But I agree with you about Kessler. He is a good player. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and in fact, it speaks to how much Sabonis has owned Kessler the last 3 or 4 meetings that they played Sabonis the way they did, because normally this would have been a feast for Domas. Just Walker's not had good luck with him as of late. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. I want to ask the chat and everybody that's watching this as well, and you can call in with your answers. Grant, you can give me yours or think about it for a little bit. Is this a team that can win 2 games in a row in a playoff scenario or a play-in scenario?
No. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. Not based on what I have seen so far, but again, we're still in February and I could change my opinion and we could have a whole different conversation when the calendar turns to April.
100%. And the reason I asked that is because we saw 2 completely different performances from just the other night with LaVine going off and tonight with a very bad Jazz team. Kings letting them hang around for a while. All right. You guys are DMing too much, which means we need to get you involved here on the show. By the way, announcement. If you see us on your screen and you have signed in through Restream, you are in line to call. We will come to you. You don't need to ask how to be in line. You are in line as you sit. Tay, what's up tonight, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think to answer Ryan's question, I don't think the Kings have enough discipline to win 2 straight play-in games should they be in that spot, which is 9 and 10, or they lose the 7 and 8 game. I think looking at some of the other games around the league, Portland beat Washington tonight. Granted, it's Washington, but they're on a 3-game win streak, and Shaedon Sharpe is really nice. That guy's gonna be an all-star one day. He scored 36 points, and looking at Portland's schedule, they have Brooklyn, Cleveland, Philly, Boston, Oklahoma City. So Cleveland, Boston, and OKC all next week. So they could potentially slip in the standings. And
I wouldn't worry about Portland right now. And I say that knowing full well, and you pointed out accurately, they're a much better team, and the Kings know that because they just played Portland recently, right after the trade deadline, and got their ass kicked. But I'm not worried about Portland. Portland is not going to be in a top 10 team. I might be worried when I play them, which the Kings do have them coming up on the schedule again. But I'm not worried about Portland. They're not going to be a top 10 team.
Yeah, I'm tracking what they do next year, though. They're a team to pay attention to next year. Not that they're going to make a massive leap, but just how we kind of said, San Antonio, could they start creeping up? Portland has been rebuilding, and they're playing well this second half of the season.
Yep.
Yeah, Spurs lost to Pelicans last time, and they're getting blown out to Grant's point. So I'm not worried about
The
them
Spurs
either.
are done.
Yeah.
The Spurs are going to
So
go into a tank mode. I will tell you because I know how the Spurs do business, and I know how De'Aaron is. De'Aaron will, in about 3 weeks from now, mysteriously turn his ankle, and they'll shut him down for the rest of the year.
yeah, and I think Phoenix is just dysfunctional. So I'm not worried about us getting the 10th spot, but I would not bet that Kings win 2 straight games unless things look different. And pound for pound, I would argue that Zach LaVine is a better overall player than Fox. He's bigger, better scorer, better shooter, been an all-star twice. So pound for pound, he's better. So if he
All
can
right, let me
really,
ask you this question because
yeah.
I was thinking about this yesterday, and I wanted to bring it up on my show, and so you lead me to this. 30 general managers in a room, sitting around a table, and they are given the choice of taking De'Aaron Fox or Zach LaVine. 30 general managers in a room. They have a piece of paper in front of them. They write the name down on a piece of paper. How many are choosing LaVine over Fox? I would say, my opinion, 30 of the general managers would write Fox's name on the piece of paper. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I think if you put it that way, Grant, I would have to agree with you if you look at
Ryan?
it holistically.
Yeah, I agree with you too, Grant. Just the type of game that De'Aaron plays in this style of the NBA, and also I hate to admit it, thus far the basketball IQ isn't even close.
It's very disappointing, boy. It's very disappointing watching Zach's decision making on the floor, and I'm very surprised by that, guys. I really am.
He's just a very talented and very athletic player, and that's how his whole career's been. So I mean, he
Yes.
will get us 40 points, 30 points here and there just on talent alone. I'm just hoping that translates to good basketball come March and April, but we'll
Yeah.
see. I think last point, Malik Monk needs to making those flashy lob passes. That's not gonna work.
The alley-oops
Some of
were
the Kings.
terrible tonight, weren't they? What
Yeah.
was going on with the lobs tonight, guys? It was
No idea.
awful.
If
It was
I'm Doug Crazy, I'll probably just bench his ass rest of the game to send a message. That's not gonna fly. So
Hey, good leadoff man tonight. You did a hell of a job. Thank you very much.
all right,
good
thanks
job,
guys.
Tay. Look at that.
Yeah, good job. We appreciate that. Very good way to lead off the show. Good stuff there.
And Tay didn't DM us. How about that?
Yeah, the only team that I would be concerned about below Sacramento is Phoenix. That's it.
Yes.
And Phoenix's schedule is brutal, and I don't think they're going to be good enough. But they do play Sacramento still coming up twice. And what's also interesting, even though they're 3 games back in a loss column, they have 2 games at home on consecutive nights against the Pelicans, and I would assume they're going to win both those games. So, if the Kings stumble and this rest of the road trip, which is very possible, at Houston, at Dallas, at Denver, then that could get tight again.
Yeah, it could. And here's the other dynamic: injuries. You bring them up all the time, but Phoenix in particular, Kevin Durant injured all the time. Devin Booker has had his fair share. Same thing with Bradley Beal. So who knows? Good question here by South Sac JJ. Grant and Ryan, when can we have a meet and greet at Bennett's?
Well, I would have to get to Sacramento first, so that would be the first time, the first criteria, this first box that has to be checked off.
Yes.
And so if I decide to come into town, I will let everyone know. I'll call Brian, and we'll do that. I think that would be a lot of fun.
That would be a ton of. You know what I was just watching the other night was us getting our heads shaved. It popped up as a memory on my phone.
It did on mine too, and I very often will look at that video. We raised $16,000 for a local charity. That was a lot of fun. We did that at the Bennett's location in Roseville. But yeah, I would be more than happy to do that when I come into town.
We will keep you posted. Sounds cool. Chang, what's up tonight? Welcome on.
Hey guys. Oh,
Hey,
can you
Chang.
hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got you.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, no, I think, these past 2 games, one thing, well, since Zach LaVine's been traded, I think the one thing I've been kind of paying attention to is really the starting lineup and how they play. And to be honest, I would say the starting lineup has been kind of disappointing. It's really odd. They seem to play better in kind of different lineups with the bench, but collectively together, they don't look in sync. It seems we are starting slow in the first quarter and the third quarter. And I really feel like that's the reason why, Doug is subbing now, Keon so early, an 8 minute, substitution. And, it just seems like Keon fits in better versus having Malik, Levine, or, DeMar in. And I think that's my only concern going forward is the fact that our starters look so out of sync together. But when they're, playing with some of the bench players in kind of different lineups, they look so much better. Like I would say this game, it seemed like the Levine, Laravia, Malik, Jonas, that lineup was really saving the game for us. And I'm just concerned that when we play more serious teams and the starters may play more heavy minutes, the fact that our starters are struggling with, these, I would say, tanking teams, that's part of my biggest concern. And I guess for you both, have you seen kind of the same thing, or are you concerned about the starters? Because
I
for
am.
myself, just to even see the closing lineup, you can see this one. Doug was just subbing in Keon for either Levine, Demar, or Malik, and it was just interesting to kind of see that it just seems that our starters can't actually play together. And that's the reason why we're having these like slow first quarters or even like slow third quarters. And I really just think that it's just to the point where we just need to start Keon. I'm really at that point because it just seems Keon is a better fit, and one of the other guys just needs to come off the bench because I don't know if we can survive first or third quarters slowly against good teams.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, Chang, Doug has like one toe in the water and the rest of his foot out with Keon Ellis because outside of tonight, the last two games, Grant, Keon's been coming in at 8:26 in the first quarter. He's been coming in 3 minutes into the first quarter. And I guess, Grant, you talk about combinations all the time. And I don't know if Doug is starting the people that he feels like he needs to start versus starting the best combinations that fit together.
I think that's a very good analysis. And if I'm Doug, I'm going to do what I want to do. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else is saying because I'm fighting for my job. Yeah. And my job continuing after this season is contingent on me getting this team into the playoffs. And to me, Keon is your best answer for having that happen by implementing him into the starting lineup. So I'm with you on that. I'm down on the starters and the way they start games all too often. It's just not. They're not. It's just not working.
What about the third quarter too? Look at how they started the third quarter tonight.
Yep. And you do. I'll tell you, if you do this against Houston, the game's over. Right? If you do this against Denver, the game's over. You might be able to come back against Dallas because they have limited firepower right now, but you're not winning playing this way. And I'm not saying you would win against Dallas, but you're not beating Houston playing like this. And you're certainly not beating Denver playing like this.
Yeah. And Grant, I don't even know if the Kings are already behind the 8 ball against Houston with this starting lineup before the ball even gets thrown in the air. Having Levine on the court, having DeMar on the court. I mean, at least before when you saw Houston, you had the Fox Monk lineup and you had DeMar. I'm really torn. I just think that the Kings are not doing themselves, Chang, any favors in creating mismatches that help them.
Nope, not at all. Hey, don't forget a rant with Grant coming up a little bit later. Give me some ideas on the chat line, and I will do a rant coming up. I also want to tell you about Bennett's Prime Seafood and Steaks. 3 locations. Of course, the West Side Grill in Rockland is the newest of the 3, but I love going to the Roseville location and take my son very often down to the Sacramento location on Howe and Fair Oaks. Same great seafood and steaks. That's right. Prime Seafood and Steaks at Bennett's. You go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com, make a reservation and more. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. You'll love what you get at Bennett's. Say hello to everyone. Tell them you're a big fan of the show. We would appreciate that. That's Bennett's, Bennett'sRestaurants.com.
If you're looking for me and to meet my fam, it's going to be the weekends, brunch.
Yeah.
11 to
Yeah, I love
2.
the brunch there too. It's outstanding.
Probably Howe and Fair Oaks. Yeah, you can come say hi. We'll set up shop there for a little bit. All right. This man got roasted a couple of shows ago. Louis, how's the sunburn?
What's going on, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Go ahead, Louis.
Hey, Grant, I'm just trying to get a hang of this restream. So my apologies, man. I'm a little technically challenged. So I appreciate
It's okay,
your
buddy. We
patience
appreciate the
with
effort.
me. Hey, man, I got a question for you guys. Ever since the trade, one thing that I've noticed is that Sabonis's production has definitely gone down. It seems like he's kind of trying to struggle to be who he usually is. What do you guys think that is? Do you guys see any specific characteristics or something that you noticed that might be holding him back? Thanks, guys.
Thank you. First of all, Ryan, I don't think that he's working as well as he did with Malik Monk. That's first and foremost. But go ahead, Ryno.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a trade thing. I think his decision making with the basketball this year has been below par compared to other years. Just some really bad turnovers that he normally would not make. And I think a lot of these guys, Grant, are being asked to play out of position. It just puts you in a weird spot. They're trying to play positionless basketball with players that are position players.
Louis? Did Louis go? Okay, thanks for the question, Louis. We appreciate that.
You there, Louis? I wanted to hear your input.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Louis.
Well, and Louis, I'll tell you this, and Ryan, the Kings aren't going to go very far in the month of March with the schedule they have coming with the Domas Sabonis that we're seeing right now. That's not going to get it done.
No. It's a Domas that's used to having the ball in his hands a lot. That has not happened as much. In fact, his first couple 3-pointers tonight looked really awkward. You could tell. He's like, oh. And a perfect example is somebody that when the ball's touching their hands, even if they're not shooting, they're a better player. It's Keegan Murray. You saw it again tonight. Yep. So there's a part of that with Domas as well. I think
3 turnovers tonight again.
Yeah, 3 turnovers. Grant, I think you've got to, if I'm Doug Christie, I am exploring the Domas Valanciunas lineup together a lot more than Doug has done to this point.
I'm with you 100%. Yep.
So,
yep.
Robin E, what's going on?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. This game showed a lot, and it really answered a lot of questions that everybody's having talking about the Spurs. So I put this in the group chat earlier. So just bear with me, right? So our play style is the reason why Keegan Murray is inconsistent, meaning that the ISO ball and his mindset by him coming from a college passing set, have to be in sets and plays, he's deferring to the people who are getting paid more. He is going to the superstar, the same thing you do at work, right? You defer, you give the praise and you pass the ball. Things you do at work in the sense of like praising up to the next man in a sense. So when we're talking about a Greg Popovich coach, I was saying that Keegan Murray is the one we should have rebuilt with, saying that we get rid of everybody else. The coach has to go. De'Aaron Fox has to go. Even Sabonis has to go because him and Monk have the same problem right now. They're deferring to Levine. They're deferring to DeMar, helping them create that chemistry. And that chemistry that they had, that consistency is off. So it's getting back to it. So I just ask you guys now, let's think 4D. Like you said, Grant, I'm not waiting till the offseason. Would it be best to fire the coach right at the end of the year, get rid of everybody, keep Keegan, and rebuild from there? How would you do that, Grant? I want that because that will be the best logical way.
Well, it's a great question. It's a very, very good question. First of all, I would agree with you on the chemistry. I don't like the chemistry at all of this team. I just don't. But to go to this fan base and tell them that you are blowing it up and you're starting all over again is not going to go over very well based on all the pain and suffering that they've had with only one playoff appearance since 2006. That's going to be a tough sell to your season ticket holders and your customers. So that's first and foremost. I think the Kings have more to build around than Keegan. I'm also a Sabonis fan. I'm just going to tell you, I'm a big fan of his. but I don't like the way the Kings are utilizing him right now.
Yep.
And I'm not a fan of the mix with Levine, DeRozan, and the rest of the guys.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to what I've said for 3 years now, or 4 years. The Kings' biggest issue to me is they don't have an NBA caliber point guard. All right. They don't have a point guard. They don't have a for lack of a better term, they don't have a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the teams that are really good in the NBA. What do they all have? They all have really good quarterbacks. They have a guy that you don't even question is the leader, the point guard, the quarterback of the team. The Kings don't have that. And I think that's their biggest issue, guys. I think it's their number one issue. And I blame that on Monty McNair for not going out and solidifying that position.
Preach, partner. If anything, they've ran away from that position. They've drafted everything in between a point guard and a shooting guard.
The last 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, last thing with that thing, right? Let me get out of here. Where, like you said, the ceiling is us getting to the playoffs. Next 2 games, what are you expecting? What are you honestly expecting?
I think they should. I think they'll split the next 2 games, and then I think they'll lose at Denver. But the home games coming up are just brutal. Ryan keeps on reading off that one stretch, beginning with Memphis. I mean, oh my gosh, the Kings may not win a game during that stretch.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I mean, you're gonna have Chicago's probably your most winnable game there,
and they're playing well right now.
Yeah, you've got Memphis, Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, Boston, Oklahoma City, OKC, and Boston. That's a back-to-back, y'all.
I'll be at the game in Phoenix for sure, and I'll let you guys know if I'm screaming "Light the Beam." I already bought tickets. I will be at that. So you can get out of here, guys. I appreciate talking to you
guys. I know people go, "Oh, gee, Grant, you're so negative." I don't see a lot of wins there. I'm sorry, I don't see a lot of wins.
Not with these turnovers.
Appreciate your call.
Yeah,
you're doing. We always love having you on. You ask great questions. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
I think Robin, he brings up a really good point because I don't know that the tolerance, and yeah, the season ticket holders won't like it, but they'll still probably buy the tickets. But aren't you almost worse off being in the middle, just right outside the play-in or
you're in no man's land. You're in no man's land.
It's purgatory. More or less. I feel
you have
like
an owner that's not going to. You have an owner that's not going to do that. He will not allow that. He's not going to happen.
But isn't there an argument? There's more of a direction blowing it up than there is with the Kings right now.
Yeah, but that argument, no one's going to be able to tell Vivek that, and he's not going to. Vivek thinks right now this is a top 4 team because I know how he thinks, and he's delusional. I'm just telling you, I know how the man thinks.
I know, man. Who's in his ear, by the way? When you were with the Kings?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Who's not in his ear? I mean, he gets he wanders, and what I mean by wandering, he answers his phone too much. Okay, he'll get a call from Joe Dumars years ago, or he'll get a call from a former front office executive, or he'll get swayed by Chris Mullin, who did absolutely nothing as an executive with the Golden State. No, I'm just telling you.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
And he gets these bugs in his ear and he listens to these bugs because all of these people want jobs.
Right.
So they tell Vivek what he wants to hear. Okay. They give him all of these stupid ideas and Vivek runs with it. And I will guarantee you 100%, not 98, not 99. I'm guaranteeing you 100%. Vivek is talking to other basketball executives not currently employed around the league right now. What I mean right now, I don't necessarily mean this second, but I mean during this time frame. I know he is. That's just how he is.
Dirk, light the beam.
Hey, guys. Grant, you ever going to write a book?
Yeah, I've actually been approached to write a book, and I'm thinking of doing so, but I'm waiting until the my lawsuit is concluded, and then at that point in time, I will make a determination on whether to move forward with a book or not.
You definitely should. It would be a good read.
Thank you.
I thought it was interesting. DeMar DeRozan had some interesting playmaking with some assists. I thought that might be an untapped avenue where we could get some potentially easy buckets because he will draw attention, and just having the guys move around a little bit off of his action versus Sabonis and Monk might be one way this offense could get going, because it feels like the defenses have realized we are going to be running everything through Monk and Sabonis, and if they just stop that, then Kings can't get anything going. What are your
He had
thoughts?
8 assists in this game for sure.
Yeah, I worry. Here's the thing I worry about, Dirk, is the spacing, because so many times the defense is kind of hanging to DeMar and or sending another person.
Yeah. I will say Valanciunas, the offense did look a little bit better to me in the way Valanciunas was playing the center position, at least tonight, versus how it looked with Sabonis. That doesn't mean I'm saying, swap these guys or anything. I'm not going that bold. But Sabonis needs to adjust. I mean, I want to see more adjustment from him. He also has to figure out how to work with other guys that, as well. It's not all going to fall on Zach LaVine. It's just something's got to get better. There's still, I think they had turnovers in the first four of the five first possessions of the game. How can we start like that? And a lot of
it's a terrible start tonight. It was awful. They were down 7-2 with 3.5 minutes gone by against this team with this lineup, and then it's only 22 at the end of the first quarter. You only scored 22 points against this team.
Shot clock violation, second possession.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, that's inexcusable.
Monk and Sabonis look sloppy, and in a situation like this, we can't have them looking sloppy. They need to get it together. And I think that this is where Doug Christie's job hangs, is can he make this offense start working, like have it look like a competent, competitive team? I'm looking forward to the next week, because that will determine if I want this team to keep going or if I want to pull the plug. Once we get some real competition, what are they going to look like? But that's what I got.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. That's a very good point, because we're going to find out there are no more breathers for quite a while here. You're playing the big boys starting on Saturday against the Houston Rockets. So keep that in mind. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. They're available 24/7 for all of your plumbing needs and repairs. You got the information there on the screen. I always go to newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. You got the number on your screen. Again, they're available around the clock for your plumbing needs and repairs. That's New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. And again, thank you to those that have reached out and given a really nice recommendation for New Works. I passed that along to them. They appreciate it as well. And don't forget about Sunrise Landing in Colusa from Blazona Development. Sunrise Landing is the newest residential community in Colusa. You go to ColusaSunrise.com. You'll get all the information on these beautiful models. Now, remember, there's no Melrose at Sunrise Landing, no homeowners, and it's adjacent to the Colusa Golf and Country Club. Great location, easy access with I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. That is Sunrise Landing. Once again, ColusaSunrise.com for all of the information on Sunrise Landing. Kings win it tonight, 118-101. We're taking your phone calls, chat messages, everything else. And in a couple of minutes, I will give you my rant. So give me some rant ideas on this Kings victory. Or anything
get them in the chat.
In the world of sports. Anything outside of the world of sports.
Yeah, we've all got a few of them. What's bugging you? GP.
Hey, how you guys doing, Grant?
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. I guess we got a win that was much expected. These last two were given to us. The two Texas games coming up, I feel like are going to be the real test to where this team actually stands. And I think if we can either beat Houston, and obviously that Spurs game will get a little bit easier. I feel like that Dallas game will get a little bit easier if we do beat Houston. What do you guys think it's going to take, and what kind of, I know a lot of people are saying, "Hey, bench Monk, bench Monk." But what do you guys think is going to take from the guards? I know we're doing terrible on the turnovers. What kind of numbers do you guys look for in that win if we could get one with Houston?
Well, you're going to have in the high 20s of assists, and you're going to have below 15 turnovers. So I think more like 30 assists, 15 turnovers is going to be, you have to have a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio in that game. I don't like the matchups in this game. Houston has already lost twice to Sacramento. They are going to be ready to go. They're now playing better. They beat Milwaukee, and then tonight they're blowing out the Spurs. So they're going to be fine. They're feeling good.
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet, I don't know if he's going to be back for the game on Saturday, but they have not had him. He's a big part of what they do. But I don't like the matchups. The last time they played the Rockets, they were without some key pieces. So we'll see. We'll see.
GP, the only way the Kings are going to be able to create space against the Rockets is with ball movement. It has to be ball movement. Yeah, Zach LaVine can create a little bit. Malik can create a little bit. But it's got to be a team effort closer to what you saw against Charlotte. I would tell you the Kings do not win a basketball game. I said this a couple of weeks ago on the record. They need 28 assists or more to win a basketball game. If it is under that number, they lose the game. And Michael, by the way, I don't know what basketball game you're watching, but we're talking about the Kings and the Jazz tonight. You know those turnovers that like my 10-year-old makes on Saturday mornings, trying to throw the ball from the baseline to the other hoop? Yeah, those turnovers. It's not the number. It's how the turnovers are made. They're stupid. They're low IQ plays, Michael.
Terrible.
That's why we're talking about them.
And by the way, you're playing a really good defensive team on Saturday. That's the one thing the Rockets will do. They will defend you. And I don't like this matchup for Sacramento. I think the Kings are going to lose to the Rockets. And then I think they have, I'll tell you right now, I'll make a prediction. With 3 minutes left to go in Dallas, it will be a 2-point game. I'll just tell you that right now.
Okay. I can get on board with that. I guess what the secret sauce for the Kings against Houston last time was transition. They got out, they ran, they made good decisions. Right now, this team is not creating turnovers, and they're making terrible decisions in transition. So I don't see how that works out well unless you see an offense similar to what you did the other night against Charlotte. Thanks, GP. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, we roll right along. Guru, PK, Dennis, you all are coming up next after Baki. What's up, Baki?
Hey, how are you? How are you?
Hey, Baki.
Did we ever have 3 games above 50 this season?
3 games about what?
Above
50. 500?
Above 500, yeah.
Yes, I believe you were 4 over 500 at one point, right, Grant?
Yes, correct.
4. Okay, I forgot. Here's the thing about that next game, which would be very interesting from my point of view. Okay, we play against the team which has the quality, which has that recognizable game. They are moving the ball very fast and they attack the paint very, very well. But I think the chance and the key for that game can be exactly them, Houston Rockets. I watch them very, very often, almost all games, and they adjust for every single opponent like they have everything in the book, Probably Şengün would try to attack Sabonis much more than he attacks other centers in the league. And everybody is aware about Damas' foul problems. So that would be the key for me. If Damas can outsmart Şengün, then he becomes the nervy one. So by the rule, he tries to serve Thompson and serve Green, and they are trying to shoot. But by that point, we can maybe build some lead at that game. So I see that game very, very interesting always when we play, because that duel down the rim between Şengün and Sabonis.
And it's going to be the first time. It's going to be the first time, Baki, that you have JB for the Kings against Şengün. So I think that makes a difference as well.
Yeah. It will be something new and probably with higher energy. I mean, I don't see somebody can trash Kings anymore. I mean, okay, we can lose the games, but blowouts anymore. I don't see that. Okay, maybe.
Well, I sure do.
Well,
I just saw one a couple nights ago.
Okay, yeah, but
against the Warriors.
Yeah, that's why I say, because they are speaking about figuring out more than ever in those last 5-6 days. So I just hope they will figure it out, how to play, how to avoid those turnovers, because turnovers sometimes becomes a killer for the game. Whenever we put those turnovers down, every game was winnable, absolutely every one of them. But I don't know. I see big war down the rim. If Sabonis is gonna be fit, I don't know what happened tonight with his hamstrings, and I don't know if he's gonna be 100%. But if they got with the energy, it can be great game in Texas. And maybe if we can win that game, maybe that can turn something a little bit in our favor till the end of the season, of the regular one, because now you have 3 or 4. Okay, it's maybe stupid to say that we should look at Lakers and who is the number 5. Okay, we can forget about it. But all those teams from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's all about 1 or 2 numbers up or down. So it's going to be interesting by the end.
But I'm not
Who
saying
knows?
I'm not saying you're saying this, Baki, but 6 is not a consideration for me. Grant, Baki.
It's not either, even though when you look at the standings, the Kings are only 2 games back of the Clippers. But I don't think it's realistic when you look at number 1, first and foremost, how the Kings have been playing, and number 2, their schedule. Like, I don't see a magic wand that's going to come out of the sky and all of a sudden make the Kings play to a level where they can beat Cleveland, where they can beat Memphis, where they can beat Oklahoma City, right?
Yeah,
where they can beat. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to beat the Warriors when they play them again on the road. I think they're going to have trouble at Orlando. I think they're going to have trouble beating Detroit. Like, I'm talking about teams that we're not even talking about that I think they're going to have trouble winning against. Even though the Knicks are struggling right now, I don't like the matchup. I think they're going to have trouble beating the Knicks. There are too many games that they have on the schedule that I don't know how they're going to win unless the other team is missing a key player.
Yeah, Grant, but 2 and 3 seasons before, Kings are always okay. They lose some games which we have. Okay, in NBA you have nothing for granted, but sometimes they play very, very good games against those extra teams. So
how many signature wins have the Kings had this year?
Yeah, no signatures win, maybe 2 or 3.
No, they had the at Boston game was a signature
Boston
win.
game. That one. Yeah,
and they did beat Oklahoma City earlier in the year when they were shorthanded, and they have 1 or 2 other wins that I would circle and go, wow, those are really good. But they have, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, they have many more bad losses than they have good wins.
Yeah, I agree.
And Baki, with the schedule coming up, why would I think, Baki? Here's where you and I differ a little bit. Why would I think that all of a sudden the Kings are going to start playing, instead of a B- game or a C+ game or even a B game, A games? Like, why would I think that's going to happen all of a sudden? Based on what?
Yeah, I got you on that, and I agree. But there's my answer. It's okay about saying that for the Kings, but you can say the same for all those teams from 6 to 9. So why do you think the Clippers would be better? Because they have the claw always on the bench, and they are winning and losing the games like they're absolutely the same like
because
Kings.
The Clippers have something to hang their hat on. It's defense. Their defense has been incredible this year. What do the Kings have what do they hang their hat on? What is the one thing?
I'll tell you, I've been down on this guy. I've been down on this guy for the last several years. You know who's playing very well since they going to Clippers? Ben Simmons. Tonight, he played significant minutes, had 8 assists, 8 rebounds, and had an excellent plus minus against Chicago. So that now gives them a defender. That's the one thing you can say about Simmons, who can basically lock down one of your top scorers. So you add that, and again, I know the guy's a head case and all of that, but I looked at you have Kawhi Leonard playing now with James Harden and Zubats, okay?
But the problem,
they're better. Yeah. They're better than Sacramento. They're clearly better than Sacramento, Baki. They're better than the Kings.
Okay, they are, but still they have only 2 wins more than Sacramento, and you need to hope. What you can do else but hope that Kings gonna be better than before the trade line, because trade line is something which, okay, we got new player from the beginning of the season. You have DeRozan, and now after the trade you get rid of the Fox, and now you have Levine, which is not set up yet in the squad. But okay, we played 2 games which are winnable, and we must win games, those last 2, and you cannot say, okay, now we figure it out from those 2 games.
Baki,
Okay,
here's the slippery slope, though, really quick.
We need to hope. That's my point. Okay, we need to hope they will play better. Okay, they need to play better. It's logic.
That's why everybody here is a fan. This is why you're watching this show. We hope the Kings better, but every game we get away from those trades, which I believe tonight was game 10 for Fox being gone, the hope shrinks, because now we're seeing a bigger sample size that, okay, it's more likely this is not going to work as well as we thought. If this was 2 or 3 games in, yeah, hope for sure. It's going to be better, but we're seeing the same things over and over. And the Clippers, Grant, they've been hurt most of the season.
Yes, and now they're healthy.
Right.
And now they're healthy. And let me tell you, and I keep saying this, if Dallas gets Anthony Davis back for the final 4 weeks, they could win 70% of their games.
Yeah.
For the remaining games, and that could give them that boost. Baki, in a nutshell, and we'll wrap up this phone call. And if you disagree, that's fine. I respect your basketball opinion. They are not playing consistently enough to beat the teams that are coming up on their schedule enough to make a run up the standings. They're just not. They're not playing well enough consistently to beat the good teams that are coming up on their schedule.
But they're doing enough to tread.
I do agree
around that 10 seed.
Yeah, but I just say that line between okay, let's put that number 6. Okay, I know you don't like talking about.
I think you should stop talking about number 6 right now.
Okay, so number 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's no guarantee some of those teams gonna be number 7 or 8. Golden State had now they put Butler is in the squad, but that's not guarantee. Butler is.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's what I also know: they've won 7 out of their last 10, 4 in a row, and they're getting better with each game. That's the problem with the Kings. They're not getting better each game. The Warriors are getting better every time they step on the floor. The Kings are not getting better every time they step on the floor, and that's, to me, the big difference.
Yeah.
Okay, it is. So that's why I think next 4 or 5 games for each of those teams gonna show us what we'll have in the play-in. I think after these next 5-6 games we can pull the line, and we can pray for number 10 or 9, or we can.
For sure, appreciate you, brother. Tell your microwave hello.
The other part about the Clippers play very well at home. The Kings are not a good home team. They're 15 and 14. That's a real problem for them. And I believe they still have to go to LA and play the Clippers one more time, coming up very soon, actually.
Yeah.
Don't they?
And then they play them at the end of the year as well. LA comes to Sacramento. Right. Look, I want to be optimistic. I just think that we need to reframe this and really focus on that 10 seed. That is this team. Is a Kings fan, as crazy as it sounds, with that schedule that's coming up, if you get to 10, I ain't going to be mad at you. I'm going to be happy that you're at 10 if you get through it. It's brutal, Grant. Got a ton of people still on the line. We're going to get to all of you, so hang on there. Zach, what's up tonight?
How you guys doing?
Hey there.
Just some things to talk about from this last call as well. Like, I'm not gonna be. I mean, like, yeah, our schedule is very hard. And if we get the 10th seed, that's cool. But I mean, it's a failure of a season if we don't get in the playoffs. To me,
Agreed.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be content enough to just make 10th seed for me.
Now, nobody
Agreed.
said content on the season. It's
Yeah.
just 10. That's what I think it's going to be. And
I agree. I
quite
think it will
great-
be that too.
and
But I
quite
would also
great.
say this: I don't think the Kings are going to win 40 games. I think they're going to get in because I think the Suns, their schedule is just as difficult as the Kings. They have 27 wins. The Suns aren't going to win 13 more games. I don't think the Kings are going to win 10 more games. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get into 10, but I think they're going to do it with about 38 or 39 wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think it'll be. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, on the flip side of that coin is you went through a coaching change. You traded a star. Nobody thought that we were going to be back at the play-in when the Kings were 6 games. They lost 6 in a row on their home court. The season was done. People were saying, blow it up.
Yep.
And now you're
Yep.
here with an opportunity. So it cuts both ways. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, for the most part, I agree with you guys. We're gonna get the 10th seed. The only thing is if Dallas keeps continuing going down, sliding, they get more injuries, stuff like that. That I can see we can kind of creep up just a little bit if we get
I
a
would
little bit
agree
of
with
luck.
that.
But yeah,
I would
Yeah.
agree with that.
but most likely, probability wise, I'm agreeing with you guys. We'll probably stay 10, and maybe 9. But I kind of wanted to bring up this one thing that
And
that's
by
been
the
talked.
way,
Yeah.
if I'm the Kings, I would almost rather be 10 than 9 because they always seem to play the big
On the
games
road.
better on the road
Yeah,
than they do at
great
home.
point.
Seriously, I'm not
It's a great
trying to
point.
be a wise ass. I'm actually thinking, boy, 10 might be better than 9 for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, we lost on the road though last year, but it's whatever. We'll see what happens. But I kind of wanted to bring up this one thing. Our next home game against the Spurs and stuff. I hate to bring it up again, but I just want to get my take out here. I think my take it for the Fox. Should he get booed? Should he get not? And all that like tribute video stuff. I think that he does deserve some boos. He has been ungrateful. But I do think that he does deserve as well a tribute video. If I'm the organization, I'm running it. I'm still giving him a video. It doesn't have to be crazy long, but something
Why?
just because
Why?
I think we got to celebrate something for this organization the last 15
No, you
years, and he
don't.
was a big. We got to cheer something for the city. Something we got to get something.
He didn't win a playoff series when he was here. He wanted out. He was a good player. He didn't want to be here. His press conferences have been less than flattering towards Sacramento. They orchestrated this with Rich Paul and him to leave to go to San Antonio. Talking with teammates of the Spurs before he was traded. I can go on and on. No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't do anything for him. I mean,
So
that's my opinion. Now, whether they will or not is different, but I don't agree with that. This is professional sports.
Zach, interesting
just
that
a
you
couple
brought.
more reasons. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I just want to I want to see the Kings celebrate our probably second best player in the last 15 to 20 years, and it was the most success we've had. He was the leader for that to get us that success to make plus. Even though that's I get it. It's sad that that's like our best success, and we made a playoffs, and that's like the best thing that's happened to us. But I feel
if
like we gotta
Fox
cheer
gets a
something.
tribute, does Sabonis get a statue?
No, I don't think
I'm
so.
just saying because he was just as important to that. Okay, so really quick, guys. So I'm glad you brought this up, Zach. The Kings, I don't think the Kings know what they're going to do yet with De'Aaron Fox. In last game against Charlotte, they dipped their toe in the water and they put up the next home game with a picture of Fox next to the Spurs symbol. This was the jubilant crowd because the Kings were winning by double digits when they saw it. So I think they wanted to see what the Kings or the fans were going to do. Here it was.
Well, That
Yeah,
tells you a
he
lot.
deserves. I'm agreeing with you guys. He does deserve some booze. I'm just saying. I think we should make a small video, celebrate something, be the bigger man. It would look kind of bad on us. I think, in my opinion, if we didn't do something like that. And let's just be proud of something, even though it's very very little compared to every other organization and franchise. But it's just something. We got to be happy about something, right?
You know what, Zach?
Grant-
That's the problem with you. You don't have to be happy about stuff that you shouldn't be happy about. Be happy with stuff that means something. Don't be happy about that. And I really mean that. All right, seriously.
It was the most celebratory like sports moment of my career in the last like 20 years.
I'm sorry to hear that. You've had a pretty rough sports career, my friend.
And,
Thank
and I
you.
got the
Thank
Raiders.
you,
Grant,
Zach.
I support the
Grant,
Raiders as my
Grant,
football team.
Grant, he works on meters. I mean,
You know what? I can't even get into that tonight. Thank you, Zach.
Take
love
care,
you,
guys.
Zach. Be well, brother. Oh my goodness. The fans booed Fox. They booed that image of him. That was pretty
Good. They
overwhelming.
should too. And
Yep,
you know
I
what?
don't disagree.
I'll tell you right now, it will be very embarrassing for Fox if they put a tribute video up and they boo out of it and they boo it and everything. This could be, and then we'll hear what De'Aaron has to say after the game. That will be very interesting, unless he blows off the media.
Well, he'll probably just give his status quo answer. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything.
Exactly.
PK, what's up? PK.
Yo.
How is
Grant,
this guy? Oh, okay.
Grant
All right.
Grant is today. Dude, Grant is cooking today.
I cook every day, buddy.
But,
every day. What
got-
can we do for you? Yep.
Hell
So
yeah.
if you could speak a little louder,
Grant-
we would
Grant
appreciate
for
it. Thank
dinner.
you.
Chef Master Flex. No, I wanted something that he said. I thought that was like awesome. Like Grant, I know that you were like amazing, but what Jerry said was like really cool. Like Jerry at halftime said stuff about the ball sticking and the ball movement, and the way Jerry was so true, because to me this game was trash.
Are you being negative, PK?
And
Because I
also,
don't like negativity on
everyone
the
in
show. Are
the
you
chat,
being negative?
Thank you, everyone that comes in.
PK, are you being negative?
Hey, you want me to be negative? Not being positive.
No, but you sound negative, and I don't
want-
like negativity. You sound like you're very
you want
negative
some-
tonight,
you
and
want
I don't
some fire?
understand that. The Kings won by 17 points. You
Grant,
seem
you
very
want some
negative.
fire?
Roll up those sleeves to your freaking neck.
Grant, you want some fire? No, I think I'm
I don't
actually
understand
like
the negativity, PK.
I'm disappointed completely. I think Doug Christie sucks.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. PK, you have a good night, man. Thank you for your call. And the negativity, that's the first time I've ever heard him negative. I didn't know he had that in his DNA. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed. That was a negative PK, which I didn't know existed.
Yeah, it's more like a KP instead of a PK. It's a KP. Pressure flippers. What's up, man?
Good evening, guys. Could you hear me?
Yep.
Good evening, Grant. Good evening, Ryno. I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna preface this by saying that Grant is an historian, so I'm gonna get back to that before I start my whole diatribe. So check this out. So I was watching, and I'm gonna do an unthinkable, and I'm gonna criticize Draymond Green. Check this out. So I was watching the Draymond Green podcast today, and he had Kevin Durant on, right? So you have
pressure. Hold on. Pressure.
Oh,
Pressure. Hold on. I
okay,
got to set
what's
the
up?
scene for everybody that was not here. Grant and Pressure got into it about Draymond Green on our earlier Kings Roundtable show. So,
this is a
for
very
those that
pro
weren't
Grant.
watching,
This is a very pro Grant topic. I think
I understand. But we're just setting the table. All right, go ahead.
I'm
Zach.
sorry.
the
I'm sorry.
table.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, can I go now or no? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
No,
go
go.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Draymond Green, Baron Davis, and Kevin Durant. I'm looking at it right now. I got it on my laptop, and Baron Davis asks Kevin Durant what's wrong with the NBA today, like the ratings and
Yep.
all that. and Kevin Durant says that the fans complain about everything. And then I'm gonna give a quick synopsis because it's like a 10-minute rant that he did. He says he has people at the on the streets that come up to him and they say, "We pay our hard-earned money. We go to games. We watch you on TV. Blah blah blah." And he says they need to get out of here with that and need to come up with solutions on how to fix the game. And I got his quote right here that he ends it. He says, at 47 minutes and 53 seconds, I got a bookmark. He tells the fans, if you ain't got no solution, just sit back, shut up, and enjoy the games. That's my feelings exactly. And now I want to get back to Grant being a historian. When I was a young kid, I remember I'm a Warriors fan, but dude, we went through some bad years, but we're not gonna talk about that. But I remember the 2006 playoffs with the Sacramento Kings and the San Antonio Spurs. I still remember it vividly.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Grant was doing the play-by-play. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he was. It was like the
Yeah, it was.
final of Arco.
Yep.
And it was a hard-fought 6-game series, and Brent Barry hit a crazy shot. That game could have went. That could have went 7.
Yep.
People don't remember.
Yep.
And my thing is, I can't fathom Tim Duncan ever saying anything about the fans like that. I don't think that's how you fix the NBA, just criticizing the fans. So I do disagree with Draymond, Baron Davis, and Kevin Durant on that. I thought that was a little crazy to say that. So
it's a
thank you
different
for the
time.
call.
It's
Appreciate
such a
it.
different time, Grant. Did that happen behind the scenes?
Social media has changed a lot of that. All right. That's number one, because people now have an instantaneous voice, which they didn't used to have, because without social media, you didn't have a voice.
Right.
But by the way, the Brent Barry shot that PK is referring to, we showed it on television. Rick Adelman called the timeout and was setting up the defense. And Mike Bibby was not only not in the huddle, he was completely ignoring what was being said during the timeout. And we showed a replay of the huddle after the Brent Barry shot, which cost the Kings the playoff series. And that was Mike Bibby's man. And Brent hit a wide open 3, and that put the dagger in it. But Mike was not only not paying attention, he wasn't even in the huddle. He was like looking into the stands and stuff. So that was a very interesting part of that playoff series. But what was just talked about leads me to my rant with Grant, and it is brought to you by EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. Right now, David and Adam are looking to sell your vehicle. You've got the number and the email to contact them right on your screen, or you can also go to their website, edhmotors.com, and you can get all of the information you need. You don't go to a dealership. This is a long overdue new concept. You'll go to their auto lounge at the El Dorado Hills Town Center. And this is just two guys with decades of automotive experience trying to do something different, better, and make it easier on you. Okay? So if you're looking to sell your vehicle, if you're looking to buy a vehicle, and if you don't find what you're looking for on the website, don't worry about it. If you go to edhmotors.com and you don't find what you're looking for, they'll get it for you. So get in touch with David and Adam. They're awesome. EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined, and now time for a rant with Grant. Also, the problem with today's modern athlete, like a Kevin Durant, is social media is the worst thing in the world for Kevin Durant because he can't handle it. I don't know of too many athletes that are more thin-skinned and as sensitive as Durant is. DeMarcus Cousins was like that throughout his entire career, and it's one of the biggest reasons why his career was a failure, because he could not handle criticism, could not handle any perceived negativity. And it ate at him and prevented him from being truly great. Kevin Durant is great, but Kevin Durant is so thin-skinned that the fans in many instances have turned on him because of his sensitivity and the fact that he will attack somebody on Twitter now X, that only has 30 followers and make a mountain out of a molehill. Draymond, on the other hand, just speaks because it's clicks for him. Do I think Draymond is intelligent? You know, I've actually watched Draymond Green and some of his work, and I think he's extremely intelligent. But I also think he does some of the most absurd, stupid things. And I am a person that takes your actions above your words. To me, actions speak louder than words. Like if you're DeMarcus Cousins and you have to say you're sorry 4 or 5 times a year for being an idiot, well, that doesn't mean anything to me. It rains hollow because your actions are overshadowing your words. Draymond's actions, cold cocking a teammate, giving the fans the finger, having his wife come out and admonish the Boston fans for their foul language with kids in the stands, including their family. And then Draymond has his son next to him in the post-game press conference and is cursing. Like, it doesn't add up to me. It just doesn't add up to me. Calling Kendrick Perkins, a former NBA player who is on ESPN, a 4-letter racist term beginning with the letter C and ending with the letter N. Again, nothing happened to Draymond. Nothing happened at all. He continually does stupid things. He continually gets ejected from games and hurts his team. He is still abrasive against authority. I can go on and on and on. And he will come right out and tell you he doesn't care and then brag about how much money he's making when he gets fined. That's a turnoff for a lot of fans. Kevin Durant, as great as he is, turns off a lot of fans. LeBron James, for an iconic, generational, one-in-a-generation talent, turns off a lot of fans because of his misuse of social media, attacking an innocent police officer in Columbus, Ohio, and saying, "You're next," getting into situations where he doesn't have a leg to stand on, not defending, not defending a victim at his charter school in Akron after a hideous, awful crime, not speaking about it. I can go on and on and on. Fans see through it, and fans click, and they say, we don't want it anymore. That's also a reason why the NBA ratings have declined. Yes, the style of play also factors into it, but the NBA has gone woke over the last couple of years, and there are a number of fans that have basically given the NBA their middle finger. So when you have Kevin Durant and Draymond Green and whoever else was on that podcast coming down on the fans, that is making the fans turn their TVs off and looking for entertainment elsewhere. NBA players need to covet their customers, need to treat them better. By the way, most NBA players do. Most NBA players are great with the fans. Most NBA players are very charitable and do tremendous things in their community. Unfortunately, because the NBA is a star league, when your stars misstep and do stupid things like Draymond, it hurts the NBA. When Kevin Durant, who's one of the great stars of the league, does stupid things and says stupid things, it turns off part of your fan base. That's not good for the league. In a nutshell, that's one of the biggest problems that I see in the NBA right now. Too many of their stars, too many of their upper echelon players, quite simply, just don't get it. And that's my rant for tonight.
It's a complete crap.
Very good rant by you. And you know what's worse? Adam Silver putting Draymond Green right there, smack in the middle of the TNT set.
It's embarrassing.
Before the All-Star game.
It's embarrassing.
It just doubled down. It doubled down on your point. All right.
And think about what he said during the show, which was a complete slap in the head towards the NBA. The time and the place, that's the last thing you want if you're the NBA and your showcase event for the entire year is All-Star Weekend. That is the absolute last thing Adam Silver wanted to hear on his broadcast partner.
Well, and it was happening too across like Sirius XM, the NBA's channel. They were trashing the NBA in the All-Star game there too. That's Adam Silver out of touch. Out of touch completely.
Yep.
Let's see. We just had a couple people hang up. I think it was Andres and Dennis. If you guys want to call back, we'll get to you before we close. BJ, thanks for waiting.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Hey there.
Hey, great rant. You kind of took a little bit of what I was going to say about the. Hey, Ryno, haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for doing the show. I appreciate you guys. The attitude of the athlete this era, it just seems so off-putting. And then when you're a Kings fan and you have, I really liked Fox in the beginning, and when they're making that run and stuff, but then last year or even the year before, his body language seemed to change, and then it became a grudge match with the agent. And it just seems to me, I don't know anything about hockey, but I watched that 4-team little round robin. Yep. I don't know jack about hockey at all. I don't know anything. But man, I really appreciated how they got out there. One guy was playing, and I guess he had like a major injury, and he was out there coughing and sick, and he was out there. He did a shift, I guess what they call, and it's just like I became a fan.
You can't compare hockey players to basketball players in the NBA. That's night and day. There's absolutely no difference. The NBA would never, ever do what the NHL just did to that level because their players aren't capable of competing like that in games that don't mean anything. They wouldn't do that. It's just the difference of night and day.
I think the current generation of players is not capable.
The current generation player, correct.
Right. A lot has changed, and the social media has really put a spotlight on people. And Grant, you brought up a great point that, if you're sensitive and you're getting into these little verbal jabs with people, it's like you're Kevin Durant. Like, come on, man. Like, grow up. It's and really, when you think about it, I'm not really a fan of his, honestly. To me, he's just kind of a paper tiger. He peed on himself after going up 3-1 and then getting swept by Oklahoma and then signed with a team that won 70-something games a week later. I just sound like an old man. So to the Kings, I'm a little bit depressed on them and a little bit down. If they make it to the 10th seed, I don't know if I'll be happy. I've the little bit that I've watched, I've been very busy working down the Bay Area. It just seems some of the plays are not only clunky and disjointed, and the spacing is crappy. It's just the mindset or the IQ of some of the things that are happening is very bothersome to me. And I think if you look at the price that Vivek is paying, the price that we're paying for tickets, it just doesn't add up. And it's I don't want to be a negative downtrodden type person, but I'm just sick. I'm just kind of sick of it, man. I'm just really
we appreciate you coming on and giving us your thoughts. Thank you very much, and you have a good evening. Okay,
you guys take care.
BJ.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. There are a lot of that's the sentiment of a lot of fans. It's
really
just the way it is. But I also know this fan base, and I'm zeroing in on Sacramento now. If they beat a couple of good teams coming up here, everyone's just going to be totally back on the bandwagon, going absolutely bonkers.
It's how the fan base rolls. It's part of being a Kings fan. Dennis.
Yep.
Hey, fellas. Light the beam.
Light the beam.
Hey, I was just calling in. Like I was talking to Ryno earlier, before the game started, about Monk's inefficiency to start the game off better, and how I'm liking how Doug is taking him off the floor first, inserting Keon in. And, people have kind of been hinting at maybe starting Keon and maybe moving Monk back off the bench, because he does provide that offensive spark that we kind of, desperately need off the bench. And I'm kind of liking that idea too, or at least maybe keep on doing what Doug's doing. But if that continues though, and the slow starts continue, is that like, you think Doug can actually like go to that route and say, "Hey, Keon, I'm going to put you in. Monk, you're back on the bench."
See, I wouldn't put Monk out because to
You
me,
can't.
I've already seen when Monk and Keon start together, they played very, very well. I would take Zach LaVine or I would take DeMar DeRozan out of the starting lineup. I wouldn't take Malik Monk out of the lineup. I think when he has started with Keon Ellis, they have played very well together.
You don't want my
And
answer.
my only other observation was just having Jonas and how big he played tonight. And I honestly don't think we would have won the game without Jonas, honestly, because, you know, the Sabonis was getting banged. I mean, he was getting banged up down low by Walker, and Jonas came in and just calmed the storm for us.
Played very well.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Dennis, thank you. Appreciate your
Thank
call.
you,
Ryno,
Dennis.
I do want to hear what you have to say. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you don't want my answer on a starting five that I would look at. I would put LaVine and DeRozan possibly on the bench.
So who's your starting five?
Valanciunas at the 5, Sabonis at the 4, Keegan at the 3, Keon at the 2, Malik at the 1. Now, that does not mean that those guys aren't playing major minutes, but it bolsters your bench with a ton of firepower, and it gives you a bunch of different combinations. You can go small, you can go big. You're throwing stuff at the other team. The other team automatically has to adjust to your size. You have a big front line at that point, and you've got a great pick and roll advantage and a high-low game that you can play with Keegan Murray as well. So,
all right. Well, let's. Are we going to get to one more call and then we'll wrap up the show? We're already almost at an hour and 20. Are we? How do you want to do this?
Yep. Let's get to Andre. One last call. Andre, you get to wrap the night up with a bow. What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Andre.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a good breakout game for Keegan Murray today. I was happy for him.
Played very well, no question about it.
Yeah, and then yeah, you think like you see when Jonas gets more minutes, like he ends up producing more for the team. I feel like it would have been a way closer game if we had not had Jonas Valanciunas this game.
No question, he played. He was their best player coming off the bench tonight. Absolutely. Well, Keon and him were the guys coming off the bench. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I just want Doug to like continue to explore more minutes for the guys like, you know, like Keon and then Valanciunas. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Basically, just like.
Well, thank you.
For sure.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you. Call again, Andre. Have a good night. Thank you. We really appreciate that. So tomorrow, I will be doing a show. Let's see, what is tomorrow? Thursday. I'll do a show at 5:00 tomorrow.
How cool is that? You get to sit back and think, when do I want to do?
I know I do like that. I'll do a show at 5:00.
Okay.
You got the King's Court tomorrow or not?
I will be here at 2 p.m. doing the King's Court.
Perfect. So there you have it, folks. 2:00 with Ryno, the King's Court, 5:00 on my show, the Open Forum Thursday. And we'll talk about the Kings, the NBA, and other things. Thank you, everyone. We had a really good show tonight. A lot of good calls. We even had a negative PK, which I didn't think existed. We had good constructive conversation with people. I thought this was a tremendous show. Great job on the chat line. Excellent job, everybody. Appreciate it. If you have not already subscribed, please do so to the channel. You'll always know when content is coming your way. And please give us a thumbs up if you haven't already done so. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much. Tomorrow, 2:00 and 5:00 right here. Bye-bye.